I'm a well-to-do businessman and I've been married for a little over a year. I listened to the story that was shared on this platform last week about a lady who was paying someone 100 Ghana cedis per head. I don't know if I should be ashamed of my situation, but I would like to seek your honest opinion. I've always been blown away by anal sex. My experience with my ex-girlfriend was epic. I know it isn't every woman that is comfy with this mode of sexual intercourse, but I was hopeful my wife will eventually warm up to the idea. I mentioned this fantasy to her only after we got married. She was really disgusted by the thought of it, and it has dampened my spirit. I never thought to broach the subject again because of her reaction. 3 months down the line, she offered to let me have my way only if I was willing to gift her $200 per session. I was elated at the idea because that's chicken change to me. I never thought of this action in a negative light because I was getting what I wanted. After listening to last week's episode, all the negative comments that came after, I also chanced on that particular story on the Sister Sister Facebook page where a lot of people referred to the lady as very cheap. I feel terrible now because it seems like what I've been doing is no different from paying a sex worker. Am I being too hard on myself? Should I speak to my wife about coming to an agreement that does not necessarily seem like a business transaction? Ladies, please help. Drea.
Oh. Wow. Oh.
I caught your reaction in the corner of my eye. That's why I came to you first. What are you thinking?
So I'm thinking, no, I don't think you're being too hard on yourself, okay? Because, one, she's your wife. Two, she's the one who offered to be paid for it. Three, there are people who actually fantasize. You know, there are all sorts of fantasies. So his fantasy may be anal. There are people who fantasize about being sexual workers, right? So she could be playing out her fantasy as well. If she's enjoying getting paid for something that you're enjoying doing, the two of you are a couple, you're married, you're allowed to do anything that is comfortable for the two of you in the privacy of your bedroom. Do you get what I mean? So I don't think he's being too hard on himself. Yes, he went onto the Sister page, and yes, he heard all of the negative comments and all of that. But I think the minute there's a marriage and the two of you have agreed, the rest of us can go and sleep. Like, what the two of you are doing in the confines of your bedroom, once you're getting your anal and you're happy, once she's getting her $200 and she's happy, Charlie, there's peace at home.
Okay, Olivia. Why do you look surprised? Like, oh, I wish I didn't have to say anything. You have that look on your face. Like, what's that about?
Because this is a tough one. This is a really tough one because as much as the Bible doesn't categorically say anything regarding anal sex, it also states, I think in 1 Romans 26 to 27 thereabout, it talks about having unnatural sex. So there's natural and there's unnatural sex in the Bible. So what does God deem as natural sex and unnatural sex? Why was sex even created in the beginning? It's meant to be enjoyed and primarily for procreation. So the fact that you've been so crazy about having anal sex for the longest time. You married her. I don't think that was a conversation you guys had even before you got married.
Yeah, after.
So it was after.
Yeah.
So you sprung the surprise on her. She never thought that she never saw this coming. And you know, when you love somebody, you want to give them your all. You want them to be happy and all of that. So this could have come about. You've asked once, you've asked twice. The first time she was disgusted, but you keep And she's like, she probably listened to a couple of friends who are like, okay, if you might as well do it, then take money for it.
Right.
I don't condone it. I don't agree with it. And I don't think it should have happened. And I don't think she should have done that. I mean, at no point in time should any wife be charging their husband for sex in the bedroom. I mean, you can't do that. Like, I don't see why, like, you didn't agree to those terms the day that you guys said I do. That's my honest opinion.
Right.
Like, you shouldn't be charging your husband for any kind of sex in the bedroom. And once it goes past the fact that, once it goes past the idea of it being more of a chore, more of, I'm just giving it to you because I have no choice, I might as well take money from it. At which point in time do you describe it as love making? It's supposed to be a sexual bonding moment where both souls come together. You express yourself through love. But all of this isn't happening. And not to even talk about the side effects of anal sex. There are side effects of anal sex, however you want to look at it, both short-term and long-term. You could have people tell you you can lubricate all you want, long day, noon, and night. But there are side effects, such as you could have leakages. Is that a myth? The way Drea is laughing. You could have leakage in your butthole. After a while, what could happen is your intestines can start dropping. Literally, at least from research that I've done. Okay, and hemorrhoids. You can start having those. You know, if you don't know what hemorrhoids are, it's cocoa. You can start.
Yeah.
You know, not to talk about STDs, STIs, and all of that. Like, listen. However, me, I don't. Whatever. The vagina was created in a way that can contract and can open up. The anus was not meant for that. The anus, and the reason why you enjoy it is because it's tighter. And clearly, when you want to, you know, go in and out, you will enjoy it because it's not, the feeling is not the same as vaginal sex. So the question is, every time you make love with your wife or to your wife, do you actually enjoy it? And the fact that you've been giving her pressure over a long period of time and she's succumbed doesn't make it right. If you feel like in your conscience you shouldn't be doing that and your wife should not be charging you for this kind of thing, don't be having this kind of sex. Okay, don't be. And I know also that the Bible also talks about, like, once you start having anal sex, you open up your soul and your spirit to all kinds of demons and stuff. It's in the Bible. Refer to it. So it's either you're doing what is right or what is or what is wrong. And clearly, this is not sitting well with you. And I'm so happy that this show is used as a platform to educate and to sort of
highlight some of these
some of these crucial conversations, because it's like, bam, an eye opener to you based on last week's show that we did.
Yeah.
Okay, so once it doesn't sit well with you and you're thinking about it, it means that, Charlie, I don't think that you should be paying your wife for sex like that. And I don't think that you should be having anal sex. And think about your wife and think about what the long-term effects are actually going to be on her, especially if you're looking to have children. Charlie, you sitting there, when you constipate and then the thing has to come out of your bum, how does it feel?
It comes. It's painful, but it comes.
It's painful, exactly. But
die.
Why should that experience be painful so for some other person that you love? Why do you want to do that same thing that you don't want to be done to you on some other person, and especially your wife? So if you don't want anything going up your bum, don't expect somebody else you love to take it in easily. She's compromising for you. And I know of stories whereby women have been pushed to the wall just to have anal sex in order to have the children's fees paid. Like, until when? So I don't think you should be doing that. Please stop it. That's my opinion.
All right. Claudia, let me bring Claudia in. Let's hear your opinion on this one. What do you think?
I think the subject of discussion is not whether anal sex is appropriate or not. Here is a woman who is exercising her agency. She offered her husband 3 months down the line. So I'm not going to believe that she was coerced. She sat, decided, you know what, this is what I want to do, and she's exercising her agency. And for the man, his problem is not the anal sex. It is the money being charged for anal sex. It is because people came on a show, and I didn't listen, so I can't really speak to what happened on that issue. But he feels being charged money for sex with a partner comes with a lot of stigma. The person thinks he's cheap. So that is where his problem is, not exactly the act. So I'm not going to dwell on the act and the right or wrong of it. I am just happy that the woman has sat down and decided, you know what, my husband and I are going to enjoy ourselves. And in exchange, I offered to take 200 euros. He's happy with it. He's decided to pay. Two people are happy. They should do them. If they are happy, they should go with it. And it's always funny when it comes to sex and money and transaction. Every sexual act is transactional. I mean, people act like they are saints, but people are having sex just to get married. That's transactional in itself. You are having sex in exchange for something. So why do we stigmatize it as dirty, whores, prostitutes when people charge money? People are having sex for all sorts of reasons. But the moment economic decisions come into the equation, we all act like we are saints, and people are having sex with men for bags, men are having sex because people have sex for all sorts of reasons. So I'm not going to dwell on whether it's appropriate or not. Are they happy as a couple? The woman exercised her agency. He exercised his agency. They are happy. That's it. Whatever you do in society, people are going to talk about you. People are going to judge you. So they have to sit and decide their long-term interest. If they are happy, they should do them. That's my 2 cents.
Interesting. Drea, you've been meaning to talk for a while, and I've been putting a gag on you, but yeah, finally, go ahead.
So I just wanted to address a few things that Olivia had mentioned. The Bible talking about unnatural sex, carnal knowledge, actually, unnatural carnal knowledge. Doggy is unnatural carnal knowledge. In actual fact, biblically, sex is missionary for procreation, not for enjoyment. So the minute you said enjoyment, you had moved from the Bible. Sex in the Bible is for us to have children. That's the first thing. My second thing is, really, if I cannot exercise my fantasies with the person that I have stood in front of the church and the world to say I love and I want to be with, who else can I exercise these fantasies with? Should he step out like the lady in last week's to find somebody and pay to get anal sex? Last week I said the same thing. If you haven't tasted jollof before, you never crave jollof. This man enjoys his anal. He has found a wife who has thought about it 3 months down the line. And he didn't say I pestered her. In actual fact, he said it threw him off. So he left. She came back.
And offered.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. She came back and said, you know what? Okay, this will please you. Me too. $200 will please me.
Yeah.
I'm just confused though. Wait, hang on. Like from this story, I'm not sure. So is it the guy who's getting anal, or is it the woman
No,
who's
it's the
getting
woman.
anal?
He's giving the woman.
Confused.
He's giving the woman anal.
Right.
And she had 3 months. It's not like he came to push her and say, give me, and then she came to say.
He doesn't say that though.
For her
to contemplate and actually,
we don't know
for a fact.
Okay. So I think that we should go with what he has said, because if he had insisted, and like she was saying, his problem is the fact that people came on social media and said that, and were bashing this other girl who's paying for, and said she's cheap. In her case, I think people would say she's cheap, 1, because she's paying for sex. 2, because she's not married to either of them. In fact, she was doing 2 friends.
Yeah.
So yes, that comes off. That comes off cheap. But in all honesty, and I'm glad she mentioned that, there's no sex that's not transactional. If you're having sex so that you will be loved, it is transactional. You're having the sex for love. If you're having sex for someone to buy you credit, it is transactional. Which is, in all honesty, these days, the word ashawo is no longer an insult, because if you think about it,
everybody's hoeing.
Everybody is hoeing. You may not be hoeing for money. It is only because ashawo is branded as hoeing for cash. But please, if you're hoeing, in fact, if you're having sex to get a job, you are hoeing. If you're having sex to please somebody, you are hoeing. The minute there's sex, is with the intention of, and in fact, you may not necessarily process it as, oh, the more I give this man sex, the more he loves me. You may not process it like that, but you know, in your subconscious, you know that,
that's gonna keep
every
him.
time I give him some style, it'll check for me even more. Auntie,
It cannot be transactional, especially in the confines of marriage. Sex is meant to be enjoyed. It cannot be transactional.
Where in the Bible?
And when you're,
where does it say in the Bible that it's meant
that's
to
why
be
I said that
enjoyed?
the Bible doesn't categorically mention even the style. So I actually I would beg to differ when
That
you
is
say
missionary.
missionary.
But you
The
do know
Bible-
that, like,
the
some
Bible,
religious
no.
folk believe that
is
missionary is the way to go.
doctrine. Those are their doctrines. Okay, but sex in the confines of marriage is not transactional.
So in the
You guys
Bible,
got
what is
married.
unnatural?
In the Bible, what is unnatural?
And what is natural?
It goes on. The Bible goes on to talk about sodomy. It talks about what happened in them.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sodom and Gomorrah. So if it was cool with God, why did he get
But
rid
you
of,
do realize
of Sodom
that,
and Gomorrah?
You do realize that it's the
So-
same Bible that says you
so-
shouldn't
I
wear
don't-
mixed fabrics.
Okay, mixed
Leviticus
I need to
talks
do-
about
I-
mixed,
I-
mixed fabrics.
but
It talks
Eating
about
shellfish.
eating shellfish,
Wearing
eating
jewelry.
clogs, wearing jewelry. You see, my point is, once we go into the Bible,
when you go into the New Testament, and if we're going to go into New Testament, right, and we're going to go about what to eat and what not to eat, as far as I'm concerned, everything is blessed, and we can eat anything and everything. But when we talk about sex, let's stick to the subjects. When we talk about sex in the confines of marriage, I don't think it's what's the word that they use?
Permissible?
It's not negotiable. What did you guys? It's
Transactional.
transactional.
Transactional,
I
right.
don't think it's transactional because you love each other. If you guys came together, the foundation was great. You love each other. Why would you be having transactional sex with your husband? Once it's transactional, it's not right. It's either
So for
love
you,
the
it's just the
person
exchange
for
of
who-
money that's the problem for
Yes,
you?
Is it only
doesn't
money
make
that
it
makes
right.
it
And the fact that
transactional?
I'm married to you and I'm having sex, why can't
think
it
the
be
show
a
will
regular
go. Let's-
bonding?
okay.
Why can't it be a regular bonding, love-making session? Why
wait,
does it have to be
okay, so I have a
transactional?
question. Olivia, I have a quick question.
Last one.
So yes, last one. So if she wasn't taking the 200 euro for it, would you be okay with it? Or it's the fact that it's staying on because it's unnatural?
Okay with it because he's doing something that she doesn't like, and she's
That's
having
the reason she's charging.
She never
Exactly.
said she didn't like it.
That's
She never
why-
said she didn't like it though. Initially, she was
gosh.
disgusted, but she had
Why
3
is she
months to
taking money
process.
for it? Why is she taking money? It's
Because
like
maybe
I
it's
hate
her
it so
fantasy.
much that
No, because
I have to puke, so I might as well take something from it. It
because-
doesn't make it
no,
right.
it's
It doesn't make it
possible.
right.
It's possible that it's a
Ladies,
fantasy.
let's agree to disagree.
Yes, let's.
Okay,
Yes.
let's agree to disagree. Viewers, listeners, you can weigh in on this one, okay? Our WhatsApp number is 054-998-6996. How do you feel about it? You know, the whole idea of anal sex with his wife, and of course, his wife also charging money for it. Let's hear your thoughts, okay? All right.